revisions on that board policy. And then on the associated administrative procedure, the comment that Trustee DeMartini indicated earlier was that there's kind of, how does this read as a procedure, and where do we draw the line? There's so much text and different things that where do we kind of balance that out? And so the recommendation was, while this doesn't necessarily read as a procedure, the how-to sort of manual, it does allow the chancellor to delegate and direct the colleges to do these things. So the recommended revision, we didn't land on any words there, but I'm bringing this forward as a proposal, and we can wordsmith as you'd like. Line 8 reads, the chancellor directs the colleges to address in the philosophy and criteria for associate degree in general education the considerations contained in the references listed below. So that was kind of our way to say, okay, we can't put everything into this document, but we're going to leave some breadcrumbs and know where it goes from there. So those were the recommended revisions on that one. Any additional questions there? I will go on to the next one, 4030, academic freedom faculty. So in bringing this forward, this has gone through the Policies and Procedures Committee of the district, which has constituent representation on that group. And then it also goes to district council, again, constituent representation on that group. And so what came forward was to strike out lines 23 and 24. When district employees speak or write as citizens, care should be taken to avoid the representation of any personal view as that of the district or its colleges. And so the question came up then in the board policy committee, why would we strike that? And so a couple of things came through the process, several discussions on this. And when it first came to the policy committee, we had recommended that because this document was solely focused on academic freedom for faculty, that then switching over to all district employees seemed kind of out of place. And so perhaps rather than saying district employees, we say faculty members. And so, but when it got to district council, the discussion was, well, what we need is really listed in this policy on academic freedom and faculty. And so since this sentence seemed out of place in this policy, let's go ahead and remove it. But then the board policy committee said, well, we actually recommend to leave it in, but make that clarification a faculty member. And so the board policy committee had no strong opinions either way, but wanted to bring it to the full board, whether to leave it in, take it out, revise it. And so that's a little bit of the background on it. Okay, so you've just seen this evening, so we can carry this forward to the second reading to let you have some time to think about how you want to move forward. Okay. And 4050 articulation had no recommended changes. 4060, no recommended changes. Finally, 47, course auditing and auditing fees. You see one change there. The fee for auditing courses shall be $15 per unit, so taking out that no more than. It makes just a very clear statement. And nothing on the administrative procedure. 4100, no recommended revisions. And 4102, no recommended revisions to the board policy, but again, in the administrative procedure, the comment and feedback was, well, it doesn't read as a how-to 1, 2, 3 step-by-step sort of guide. And so you'll see on line 7, the chancellor directs procedures to convene these advisory committees will include the following things. And those were all the recommended revisions. Did I leave anything out for those of you?
No, I think we got it all covered.
Okay.
And I would just like to mention on policy 4030, whether to include or exclude lines 26 and 27. If you have any input, please share it with members of the board committee, which would be Leslie, Lynn, or myself, when we meet on this next time.
Okay. Thank you, Connie.
All right.
Move on now to item 7.4, Citizens Bond Oversight Committee membership. And the recommended action is that the Board of Trustees appoints the following individual to serve on the YCCD Citizens Bond Oversight Committee for a 2-year term, and that is Frederick Fowler, at-large, first term.
I'll move the recommendation.
Okay, so we have a motion to move forward the recommendation by trustee DeMartini. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Rodriguez. Any further discussion? Hearing or seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. Moving on now to item 7.5, resolution of dedication, public hearing. The recommended action is that the Board of Trustees conduct a public hearing and adopt resolution number 17-18.02, dedication of easement to the Tuolumne Utilities District, or TUD, for the purposes of inspection, repair, and the maintenance of the communication facilities, and authorize the Chancellor to execute the grant of easement and deliver it to the Tuolumne Utility District. So we will now open the public hearing.
Chairman, I move that we
Okay, I need,
give them the easement.
okay. I have a public hearing. As soon as I close it, you're right on point. So I'll close the public hearing, and we have a motion to approve the resolution as previously stated by trustee Don Viss. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by trustee Rojas. Any further discussion? Hearing or seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? So moved. Moving on now to item 7.6, Central Services Measure E Proposed Budget Adjustments. And we'll turn it over to Vice Chancellor Teresa Scott.
Thank you. What you have before you is the Central Services Measure E budget, and these will be close to the final adjustments we will make. And on your schedules, you'll see highlighted where we're closing out projects and moving those dollars into an augmentation for our STEAM line project, decentralization at Modesto Junior College. You may recall discussions regarding that very, very large project that we identified $10 million, and we were going to complete that and still are going to complete that in 3 phases. These are all the underground steam pipes. So what we're doing is we're moving any remaining balances from the projects you can see are closed out, and then we're also moving the contingency line item, since we are very, very near the end of all these projects, up into that project to complete the project. One of the major pieces of this adjustment has to do with ADA, and when we embarked upon the project, the ADA regulations were not in place for this type of project, and now we have found that we do need to add money for that. So I would say that Judy Lanchester and her team, along with Kitchell, are, again, doing a really great job in efficiencies with this budget, because it's a huge project, and wherever they can, they're value engineering. But nonetheless, because of these new developments, we need to add more money. And then this should, Trustee Viss, bring us to almost closure as soon as we get that done for the central office.
Great.
So we ask that you approve the budget amendments to Measure E Central Services.
Thank you. That is the recommended action. Before we get to that, again, thank you, Judy, and your staff for all of your hard work. It's a huge undertaking taking care of all these buildings and facilities, given the fact that and I keep quoting President Stearns, that we are overbuilt, and our current maintenance backlog is about $100 million just for Modesto Junior College. So it is a Herculean effort to keep up with that. So with that, I'll entertain a motion to approve the Central Services Major E Bond Project budget adjustments as lined out and detailed in your agenda.
So moved.
So moved by trustee Rojas. Is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second by trustee Beggs. Any further discussion? Hearing or seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, motion carried. And we have a similar item now for item 7.7, Columbia College Major E proposed budget adjustments.
Same motion here to amend the Measure E budgets. We are again closing out all the projects, or the ones that are complete, And then we are moving what is remaining at the direction of Columbia College to the Juniper upgrade. We're calling that a soft remodel, and you'll note that we are increasing that budget to $246,000, and then again removing the contingency line item, final projects.
Okay, thank you. And since you eloquently stated that, and that pretty much is the motion, would anyone like to affirm that and make it an official motion? Thank you, Abe.
Second.
And thank you, John. So we have a motion and a second to adopt the budget adjustments as lined out and detailed in your agenda. Is there any further discussion? Hearing or seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. Moving on now to item 7.8, Resolution 17-18.03, reaffirmation of board roles and responsibilities and delegation of authority to the chancellor and college presidents. And the recommended action is that the Board of Trustees adopt Resolution number 17-18-03, reaffirmation of its roles and responsibilities and delegation of authority to the chancellor and college presidents as attached to the December 13, 2017 agenda. And I think Chancellor Young, would you like to comment on this item?
I wish to draw your attention to the word reaffirmation. I think it is important. And this document will give the presidents and myself a great tool to go and meet with the commissioners and give them this document. This is specifically in reference to one of the accreditation recommendations, and we are simply reaffirming our board policies and our practices as governed by our policies, board policies and our administrative policies. And this will send a message to ACCJC that we are doing what needs to be done to continually improve ourselves, and we will have the document for them to see on January 11. Thank you.
Thank you, Chancellor Young. Is there a motion to adopt the resolution previously stated?
So moved.
So moved by Trustee Beggs. Is there a second? Second by Trustee Martin. Any further comment or discussion? Hearing or seeing none, all those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried. We'll move on now to item 8 and 8.1, comments from the Board of Trustees. And I'll start with the student trustee. Would you like to add anything additional?
Modesto Junior College has invited me to the association degree nursing graduation ceremony, and I'm currently making efforts to attend that right now.
Okay, thank you. Trustee Rodriguez?
Mr. Chair, I have no reports.
Okay. Trustee Martin?
I met with the Columbia College president and Pedro Rodriguez. That was a very nice meeting with the three of us. I attended the art show by Sherman Hay presented by the Columbia College Foundation. And I had lunch with Chancellor Young. And attended the Columbia College holiday luncheon, which was very festive. And, well, Klaus is gone, but he and his staff did a very nice job. And I also attended the Chancellor's dinner for the trustee. Attended the Policy and Procedures meeting by phone, and I also attended the retirement event for Jeff Fitzwater that Pedro mentioned. He's a colleague and a longtime counselor at Columbia College. Awesome guy.
Wonderful. Thank you, Lynn. Trustee Beggs?
Since the last board meeting, which I attended remotely, which was a first, I attended the MJC Foundation meeting on December 5th, the trustee gathering at Chancellor Young's lovely Modesto home, the Policies and Procedures meeting, the MJC Foundation holiday party last night, and I met with the Chancellor. Thank you. That's
Thank
it.
you. Trustee Rojas?
All right, I also attended the Finance Committee attended the VIP JPA meeting in Fresno. Thanks, Dorothy, for the ride. We got there a half hour early, and we thought got the wrong date. But anyway, and then I attended 3 days of the 80th annual basketball tournament for the men. Met with the chancellor at the reception that he hosted the board. Attended the faculty holiday and pleasantly welcomed by the faculty, and Curtis and I got to talk a little bit, so that was good. And then I attended the foundation Christmas social last night.
All right, thank you, Abe. Don?
I attended the Finance Committee meeting. I enjoyed a breakfast with the Chancellor. Enjoyed it particularly because he paid the bill. We enjoyed a meeting or a dinner at his home last Friday night, which I also enjoyed because I am single now and I cook and I appreciate what goes into the meal that his wife cooked. It was delightful.
Thank you, Don. Ann?
One of my responsibilities is to be the board liaison to the Great Valley Museum Foundation, and we have monthly meetings. I attended that, but I want you to know that the Great Valley Museum Board is working on our annual gala. We have a gala dinner, and this year it's about birds. It's the genius of birds is the theme. Which I think is wonderful. And I do want you to know the gala is on March 10th. And if you act now, before January 31st, you can get a reduced price ticket to the gala. The regular price is $125 per person. If you buy it before January 31st now, it's only $100. So it's a big savings, and you're helping us out. You can buy them online, or you could just send a check to the Great Valley Museum. But it's really worthwhile to support, and it's always been a nice event. So if you would consider doing that, I'd appreciate it. And even the lowest table level is a reduced price up until the end of January. I attended the board policy meeting this Monday and had a couple various meetings with Henry. I do want to mention that I was able and thrilled to go to the housewarming event that Henry held for trustees and their spouses or significant others. His wife, who is Vietnamese, did all the cooking. We're talking top-notch here. You know, shrimp, and we had egg rolls, and I can't remember everything, but it was really, really wonderful. And so I really appreciate all her efforts, and it was great. Thank you. I was able to attend the MJC Foundation event last night at the McHenry Museum, and it was just very successful. Lots of people there. It was really a nice mix of people that I haven't seen for a while, and meeting new people, which always happens. And I thank YFA for the event that they held on Monday. I would have liked to have been there longer, but I had like 3 hours of meetings before that. And so thank you for that.
Thank you, Ann. I, too, attended the Board Finance Committee meeting. I've had multiple meetings with Ann and myself and the Chancellor since the last meeting. I attended the foundation function here, last night. See, all runs together. And the reception at the Chancellor's house. Thank you for opening your home to all of us. That was very special. And the YFA. And I will have to say, it's my own fault, but I should have gone over to the faculty lounge before. The way they had that place decorated, and when you looked at it walking up from the outside, it really gave a really warm Christmas feel. So kudos to you guys and the work that went into that, and thank you very much for that invitation. I really appreciated it. And then I also, not related to my functions here on the board, but with the retirement board, I attended a lengthy retirement board conference for our state association. And I will just say that in keeping with the holiday spirit, I won't bore you with the details nor the negatives. so we'll just keep it at that, and I'll report it at a later date. And the announcement is the next regular meeting of the Board of Trustees will be held on January 10th, 2018. Closed session will begin at 3:30 p.m. Open session at 5:30 p.m. in the Yosemite Community College District Boardroom located at 2201 Blue Gum Avenue, Modesto, California. And with that, meeting is adjourned. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas. But he was pretty quick.